Morning friends, happy Monday. It's been a wild day so far. I think every issue that could possibly happen on a Monday has happened today. My printer died, brand new printer. eBay's giving me issues, so my sales are kind of, I don't know, in the balance, I guess, hanging, unfortunately. I don't know, I've had some customer service issues, an order I placed get canceled arbitrarily because there's an issue with my address. I don't even know. Anyway, trying to get some stuff done today. I've got my M51 carburetor for the 48WL, and my hope is to be able to get this thing apart so I can get it cleaned and assess what parts I'm missing. Because as you can see, I mean, this has been sandblasted a few times. I'm missing pieces on the side here. I've got a hole in the side. I'm not sure if that's supposed to be there or not. I do need to get my manual out and take a look and see what's supposed to be there and what's not. But this thing is gross. It's been sitting for a long time. Obviously it's oxidized, it's got some green forming in it and on it. But I want to get this thing torn down and get it in the bath and get it washed up, and then see what I'm working with, see what needs to be replaced and how far I need to go with this thing. So I figured I'd bring you guys along and show you the process of tearing this thing apart and seeing what I've got. We're going to start by taking out the float bowl, and as you can see, it's got a nut on the bottom here and a lock washer and this little tab. I don't know if those things are correct or not, but that's what it came with. So for now, what we're going to do is we're going to get all these parts off, get them set aside, and figure out what to do with them. I'm hoping this is all rebuildable. I'm hoping that there's enough meat here to make this thing work. I believe there is. Nice thing is the parts are coming apart easily so far. I'm sure once I get down into removing some of these screws I'm going to have issues, but for now everything seems to be wanting to come apart nicely. As you can see, pretty dry in there, pretty gross too. I believe I'm missing the fuel strainer. I haven't found that yet, but I still do have one more box of parts to go through, and hopefully I will find that. I am missing the float needle. I can see that right now that that's gone, so that'll have to be replaced. As I feared, some of these screws are going to be super stuck in here. They might have to get a good bath before I can actually get them removed all the way. There should be nothing holding this bowl on right now. I think it's just grime holding it in place. I'm going to attempt to spray some of these parts with penetrating oil just to see if maybe that'll help out a little bit. Let those parts soak for a little bit and keep moving forward on getting this thing taken apart. Hopefully both of these screws will come out nicely. One so far. And there's the second one. Perfect. And I did go ahead and take a picture of this because there's a position that needs to go into. This is actually a beveled edge, and it closes against the body of the carburetor. As you can see, there's a number 13 on there, and that's on the right hand side when you're looking at it facing out. I want to make sure to keep that visual reference so I don't lose how this goes back into place. As you can see, that's quite grimy. The screws are quite locked in place, so we're going to soak those in oil too. And I think I'm going to oil up the rest of this carb body here just to try to get things lubricated. Piece of foam came out of there. Not exactly sure where that came from. That was hiding in there. As you can see, that's quite dirty on the tip there. I know these carbs are super basic and they don't take a whole lot, so I'm hoping that I'll be able to just clean this thing up, reuse most of the parts. Ball bearing there that I thought came out, but I guess maybe it doesn't. I feel like it's a ball bearing there. Thought it was moving. It seems to not be now. Obviously, as you can see, that one's quite dirty as well. Those are your high speed and low speed needles. I think I'll be able to reuse them. I hope I can. They look like they're going to be reusable. And I'm not sure about this one, being that it's so thin, and of course that it's been sandblasted on, I think, or even it's just rotting away. I feel like it's been sandblasted at least once. I'm curious about running it. I'm wondering if it should be replaced. Yeah, as you can see, that's been sitting for a long time and it's pretty gross. Flying parts. That one came out kind of nice. Yeah, again, all these pieces are pretty dirty. I'm going to try to hit this with a rubber mallet a few times and see if we can get it to loosen up. There we are. Wow, that's full of sediment, dry, probably gasoline. Looks like an old cork float. I can't imagine that thing's any good. So that'll have to come apart too. It'll definitely have to be replaced. Trying not to press really hard on these pieces because I don't want to bend anything too far. I know the seat's made to be bent into position, but I don't want to ruin it either. I'd say it's seen better days. It's still fairly pliable, and it might work, but I'm going to replace it. I don't want to reuse that one. I don't think that's a good idea to reuse it. I think I'm going to soak this before I get those screws out. Unfortunately, they're not turning at all, and I'm hoping with a little bit of cleaner in the ultrasonic, it'll actually clean it up enough to be able to remove those parts. Try to take these two bottom screws out. So far those are coming out nicely. Old gasket. I'll lubricate this. Try to get the emulsion tube out. That guy is definitely stuck in there. It's moving, but not enough to be able to get it out. So I'm trying to work some of this fluid down through it. Hopefully I can work this back and forth a little bit to be able to get it lubricated enough to want to come out. It is moving a little freer now. Let's see if it'll come out now. We're right at the bottom. Try to grab it with my pick here and pull it out if I can. Again, trying to be gentle with these parts. I don't want to ruin anything. There we are. Definitely going to need a cleaning. I don't believe any of those ports are open at all. I feel like they're all stuck. I'm not sure how we're going to get the Venturi out. That looks like that thing is seized right in there with the amount of crud that's in here. And again, that may just take a soak in the ultrasonic for a little while to see if we can actually get that to come out. We're going to attempt to get this rod out of here. Try to get this to unthread again. All I'm doing is ruining the screw. None of those want to turn. So we can get the other side screws to turn it all. At least that one turned. Let's see if this one will come out. That one did as well. It's just the main one that's being stubborn, unfortunately. The goal is to open up all these passages so I can actually get fluid through them. And there's enough sediment in here that would, of course, clog this stuff up once it hit the ultrasonic bath. My goal is to get this clean, so I can't have these passages stopped up. If I do, it won't get clean enough and we'll have issues down the road. I don't want that. I believe the only two things I have left are the Venturi and this shaft here. See if we can push that out at all. It's funny, that definitely smells like old gas, like really, really old gas. Now that I've gotten some lubricant on there, it's got a really different smell to it, honestly. It smells like a very old tank of fuel. I'm not sure if I can get that out before I soak it or not. And I'm not sure what to do with this screw. I'm afraid I'm going to ruin it. Let me get some of this grease off my hands here. There's nowhere to bite onto that, unfortunately, so I'm going to attempt to get a pair of channel locks or vice grips on there just to be able to move this. I'll end up replacing that screw because unfortunately I'm going to ruin it in taking it out. We'll try that next and see how that goes. I'm going to attempt to get a pair of needle nose channel locks onto that screw. The hope is this will give me enough leverage to be able to twist this enough to get it loosened to then be able to put a screwdriver back onto it. We'll find out shortly if that will actually work. It may not. I didn't get enough bite onto it, unfortunately. I got a little turn there. Perfect. Let's see if we can get one more little turn before we go back to the screwdriver. I'm not sure if the screwdriver will actually turn it yet or not. It may not. Nope. I think we're going to try to work this out. I'm sure this is not the proper way to do this. I would imagine there are better ways to do it. I could have probably heated this up enough to make it work better. Potentially. I haven't always had the best luck with heat. Thankfully, there's enough parts available that I could rebuild. I feel I can rebuild this carburetor, so if I ruin this completely and need to replace it, I feel like I can get this arm and these screws and all these parts to put this back together properly. Perfect. Now it's working with a screwdriver. My goal at this point is to be able to back this screw all the way out because I'm not going to use it again. It's not in good shape. This may have been taken apart at one point before, considering how worn out the head of the screw is. It's in pretty rough shape, so I'm assuming it has been taken apart before. I'm not exactly sure. Now again, this bike sat for a long time in buckets. There we are. There's a little spring on top of there. Don't want to lose that either. There's a little side-to-side play in that rod. So I may invest in bushings or an oversized rod. I'm not sure. I'll have to look up and see what type of play you can have in these, what's acceptable and what is not. So I'm not entirely sure. Should check this one out too. I feel like this one was super tight. Yeah, this one's actually good. There's not any side-to-side play, which makes me happy. Unfortunately, this one there is. So with this rod, it's gonna probably have to be replaced. Otherwise you get leaks there, and I don't want to have a leak. I want this carburetor to be good to go when I'm done with it. Unfortunately, there's no pushing that Venturi out. I don't think there's a good way to get it out. I know there's the hole there on the side, but I don't think I want to put anything in there. I don't think that's going to help. So my next step is going to be to soak this. The only thing that's stuck in the carb body itself is the Venturi. That's still stuck inside. I don't believe I'm going to be able to get that out without ruining something, and I don't see a way, I don't see anything holding it in place other than gunk. I mean, this thing's full of just grossness. Like I said, it smells like old fuel now that I've got a little oil on it. Also, these two screws on each side here and this bottom one are currently stuck. I could do the same with the needle nose pliers on the bottom one. I'm not sure if I can get that screw or not again, and I don't want to chance it. I don't think a screwdriver is going to do it. Maybe it will. Nope, that doesn't want to turn, and I don't want to ruin it. So I'm going to drop these in the ultrasonic cleaner for a little while, let them soak for about a good 30 minutes, let everything kind of vibrate. I'm using Dawn dish soap, so it's super nice on these types of things. It's not abrasive, it doesn't really hurt anything, shouldn't hurt anything I should say. We'll let these guys soak for half an hour, and then we'll start ordering replacement parts. Tearing into carburetors is always fun. You never know what you're going to run into. You're not sure if you're going to run into a complete carb, an incomplete carb, or what kind of gunk is on the inside. How many hands have been in these things. You know, a bike that's 76 years old now, you kind of wonder how many times has this thing been fussed with over the years. And then of course, how long has it sat in its current state? Probably a long time. I hope you guys found this video informational. I hope it's helpful. If you like this type of content, please give it a like, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. I see a lot of the folks that are watching my videos are not subscribed. It looks like about 98% of the folks that actually watch my videos are not subscribed to my channel. And I'm trying to put out more content every day, honestly. I'm trying to do a couple things a week, if not 3 or 4 things a week, if I have time, permitting, you know, weather and parts that have come in and projects that I have to work on. But as always, I appreciate you guys following along. I appreciate the comments, appreciate the feedback and all the help that you guys have given me. It's been a great journey, and I'm excited to see what we can do in 2024. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.